This is a good topic, refocusing your life, because at this point in the new year, when we have written our goals, when we are making our plans and really very committed to making 2017 our year for outrageous success, one of the things begins to become apparent, and that is that as we move along the success journey, there comes a time when we have to refocus our lives. And, the idea of refocusing, think about this again. Focus is one of our most important assets. Focus is really our ability to place our intentions in a particular direction. That focus, that ability to say, this is something I want to do, and I'm going to try concentrate my efforts, my time, my resources to get it done. There are really two aspects of focus, and one is time. That focus is something that is not an instantaneous thing. It's over a time period thing. So it's instantaneous, but over a time period. And the other aspect of it is energy. So time and energy. Energy is the efforts, psychic, spiritual, physical, the energy that we put into doing something over time. And that really is the essence of focus. The spiritual universe says that whatever we focus on grows, that whenever we give our attention and our intention to anything, it grows. It's like the light, the creative energy in the body. The light of the body is in the eye. So whatever we focus on creates a harmonic connection between our energy and that which we seek. It goes on to say, if your eye is single, in other words, if your eye is focused, your whole body will be full of light. The results of focus is that the universe gives you all that you need. It fills your life with light, which is manifestation of that which you desire. Focus is really the foundation of success. Trust me, there is no success without focus, and there is no focus without success. Whatever you focus on grows. And so I think back on Aristotle Onassis, and he was a brilliant shipbuilder. I think most people remember him for having married Jacqueline Kennedy. And he was a person that went from nothing to become one of the early multimillionaire, billionaire persons. And he did it because of ideas. And he said this, it is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. So focus is a powerful tool that can take us from any situation to any situation. When we look at the second law of success, it says, be not conformed to this world, but you don't have to stay stuck in your present situation, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, be you changed by thinking a new thought. Well, focus is that process in operation. The question comes up then, how do we lose focus? If it's so important, if it's such a critical part of our operation, then how do we lose focus? Probably the number one way that we lose focus are distractions, crisis, health challenges. When you have a health challenge, really, there is nothing else you can really focus on. You have to focus on the healing process. Another time we lose focus when we get stuck in a rut. Sometimes we can be doing the same things over and over and getting a result that we don't like. but it becomes so ingrained, it's almost like we become comfortable in failure. That instead of looking up to where we want to go, we begin to concentrate on where we are. That we're stuck in a rut. That we're in a bad place. A third reason is past failures and disappointments. It is so easy to focus on the one that got away. To focus on the thing that didn't happen. I think there's a negative aspect of our minds where we almost look for the weeds. You know, if life is a garden and that garden is filled with beautiful flowers, there are many people go and look at that same garden and say, oh, the weeds are going to get it. Look at those weeds down there. If you don't do something, those weeds are going to eat the flowers up. And so we lose focus when we get stuck in a rut. We lose focus from crises, health crises, and distractions. We lose focus when we think about past failures, past disappointments. Enthusiasm is the energy part of focus. Winston Churchill once said, success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. And you know, Winston Churchill was one of those who failed. He failed his way to success. You know, as a politician, he was booted out of the government just about. But in the time of need, the people looked around and said, who's that rock that we can stand on? So enthusiasm is that energy part of focus. So focus is really energy exerted over time. In relationships, you know, when people just meet one another, they're excited about each other. They're attracted to each other. All they can think about is each other. And this same strong mutual attraction is the energy part of focus. Just as you become enthralled in a relationship with somebody new, to create outrageous success, you have to be just as excited, just as enthusiastic about your goals. When we focus, we are projecting our thoughts onto the world and expecting the world to conform to what we see. That's a powerful thought, folks. When we focus, we are projecting our thoughts onto the world and then expecting the world to conform to those thoughts. Focus is the mechanism by which the law of expectation operates. So at this point in our lives and in our year, this may be time to look and say, well, I may need to refocus. I got my goals, I got my plan, but I don't see the results coming so far, and I don't feel good about it yet. How do you know that you need to refocus your life? And you know, this comes up, it often reminds me of one of the great judges in one of the early pornography trials. The trial lawyer said to the judge, he said, you know, I want this case dismissed because, you know, there's no definition of pornography. Judge, how do you define pornography? And the judge says, I can't tell you what it is, but I know it when I see it. So when we lose focus, we might not know what it is, and that's why this message is so critical right now, because we're committed to success this year, but there's something missing. There's something that's like, maybe it's that we're not happy. When we lose focus, we often feel unhappy, feel unfulfilled. Sometimes we even feel lost. or bored or disappointed. In other words, there's something inside that is blocking that enthusiasm about going for our goals, about following our plans. And when we lose that focus, it becomes almost magnetic. When we lose focus, when we lose our way, it radiates and it impacts other people. It impacts our relationships. It impacts our groups. It impacts our family, our friends, our business associates. I was laying on the couch one day and I was sharing with Sandra. I said, I just feel depressed. That's rare for me. But that was a feeling, it was just there. And I laid down for a minute and I said, I got to do something about this. And so many of you right now, as we are undertaking this new year, just might not have that enthusiasm yet, that fire in your belly, that no matter what, you're going to achieve that outrageous success. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no focus, we fail. Focus is vision in action. When we focus, we give our intention and our attention. Many times we intend to do things. We write our goals and we say we're going to do them, but until we give them our attention, where all that we can think about is accomplishing our goals. All that we can think about is what we need to accomplish our goals. Where we become the manifestation of Earl Nightingale's statement, the greatest secret is you become what you think about most of the time. So how do we get back on track? How do we adjust our focus so that we can continue along the path that we say we want to go with enthusiasm and power? Well, first, to be focused means that no one and no thing can deter or distract you from whatever it is you're seeking, from your goals, from your vision. Where focus goes, power flows. We are these radiating beings that radiate this energy out to the universe. When we don't have focus, it's like having a light bulb and it just lights up the whole room, which is great. But when we do have focus, it's like having a magnifying glass where that same light can be used to cut or to burn. When we lose control and we're not focused, there's a tendency to lead a reactionary type of life where we're always responding to something else. We're always responding to someone else, where life and people and circumstances and situations keep coming at us, and our total existence is based on responding to these things. Insanity is doing the same things over and over and expecting a different result. So where we are right now in this year, if we're beginning to see that develop where we're doing some of the same things we did last year, then we know that down the line we're going to get the same results. Sometimes we even focus on the wrong things. One of the subtleties of procrastination is to focus on minor things, to spend dollar time on penny jobs. We give our energies, we give our time to something that is not that essential to where we want to go. Most importantly, we've given it our time, and that we cannot get back. So how do we focus on the right things? How do we focus on the things that will provide the enthusiasm and the energy that we will achieve our goals like stair steps from the ground floor to the second floor of your house. Just as sure as those steps will operate, our game plan can operate if we use the power of focus. So what are the steps to regaining and refocusing our lives? Number one, a reality check. Be aware of the truth of your situation. Don't spend time with people who are not going where you want to go. Sometimes when you look at the truth of your situation, you have to look at your thoughts. What thoughts are you having that are incompatible with where you want to go? Your emotions. What feelings do you have? Is it feelings of unworthiness, feelings of lack of love, feelings of rejection? Is keeping you from going where you need to go. It may be your habits. Look at a reality check about your habits. What are you doing that keeps producing the same result? Are you always arriving late? Are you always unprepared? Maybe it's the people you have around you. Are they going in the same direction that you're going? Are you pulling them, or are they pushing you? And if they're pushing you, are they pushing you in a direction that you want to go? You see, when we do that reality check, we have to confront denial. You know, denial comes about when we do a reality check and we see our situation and then we deny the situation by saying that somebody else created it. Blame, when we put the blame on other people for our situation. Sometimes we can be so busy blaming others that we can't even see that we're the cause of it. So that reality check says that you have to say, whatever it is, I did it. Some of the questions you may want to ask yourself: are you happy? Well, why not? Do you feel fulfilled? Well, why not? Are you satisfied with where you are, what you have, or where you're going? And if you're not, these are the kind of things that you have to look at now and do that reality check, because it's only then that you can diagnose the situation to change it. Anything that you see that's not working, that's not effective, anytime you find yourself just marking time. You know, one of the reasons that the end of the year is so critical is because there's that time for assessment of where we are. And it's a very sometimes unfriendly, unforgiving reminder of what we've done over the year. So, reality check number 2, take responsibility for your situation. Whatever it is, you did it. Whatever it is, you created it. If things are not moving as fast as you would like them to, or not going in the direction you want them to, you're the reason why. We are where we are because of our choices, our decisions, and our actions. If we don't take personal responsibility for our situation, then we can't fix it. As long as we blame somebody else, somewhere else, some external variable for our present situation, as long as it's always the other person. Sometimes in relationships, people go from bad relationship to bad relationship, and when you say, what happened? It's always the other person. This guy was a lying, cheating person. This person was dishonest. This person, in other words, as long as you feel that somebody else is creating the results in your life, you can't change it. You may not be able to change an external situation, but you have total control over your response to it, your reaction to it. So we must take personal responsibility for putting our life and our efforts on that in such a perspective that we can go forward and pursue our goals with energy and purpose. Number 3, be perfectly clear about what you do and why you do it. I often tell the story of the young child who saw her mother every Christmas. The young girl saw her mother take the ham. They love these beautiful baked hams, and the mother always cut the ends of the ham off. And the little girl asked her mother, why do you do that? And she said, well, because my mom did it. And when she got a chance the little girl saw her grandmother, he asked her, said, Grandma, Mom cuts the ends off the ham. She said, you did it. Why did you do that? And the grandmother said, oh, because my mother did it. And they finally, when they went to the nursing home to visit the great-grandmother, the little girl asked the great-grandmother why she cut the ends of the ham off every Christmas. And the great-grandmother said, because the pot was too small. So how many activities are we going through where the reason for that activity no longer exists? We're just mimicking and going through something that used to be. So be very careful, critical about what you do and why you do it. When we spend time dealing with other people's crises, sometimes with our own lack of planning and lack of organization, then we have to say, this is not what I want to do. And why am I doing this? It may be lack of faith. You see, focus is the foundation of faith. Whatever you focus on, your intention and your attention creates a harmonic relationship with it. In other words, where focus goes, power flows. So it creates that harmonic relationship, and it becomes magnetic, drawing into your space all that you need to accomplish what you're seeking. So when we are clear about what we do and why we do it, then we can make changes. Sometimes we do things for the wrong reasons. When we ask that question, what are we doing and why are we doing it, we can figure that out. The 4th key to regaining focus is to learn to say yes and no. We have to say no to distractions. We have to say no to things that are not correct. No to things that are not effective. No to bad habits. No to negative feelings. No to negative people. We have to say yes to the things that uplift us. Yes, I want to manifest my dreams. Yes, I want to accomplish A, B, and C. No to focusing on past failures. When those past failures come out and begin to paralyze us, we have to reframe them, rethink, refocus, and look at that past failure as a great opportunity for growth, that you could not be where you are right now if you had not grown through that situation. The 5th key to regaining focus is to revisit your why. Our why is the reason that we want the things that we say we want. That when we set our goals, our why is that emotional force that connects us to the goals. It's that hunger that says, I want that goal to manifest in my life. Sometimes our why changes a little bit based on our evolution. You see, this whole success journey is not a static thing. It's an evolutionary experience. So when we revisit our why, sometimes when we feel stuck in that, we've lost that focus, it may be that we've lost connection with our why. And we have to now revisit that why in the context of where we are right now. That reality check again. And when you revisit your why, just do the same process. The process is always the same. Write it down. Clearly in great detail. Read it over 3 or 4 times a day. When you do that, you keep planting the seed for that which you desire. Remember, You become what you think about most of the time. And so when you read your goals over 3 and 4 times a day, when you read your why over what you expect to happen when your goals are achieved, what your life is going to be like when your goals are achieved, you keep planting that seed and watering that seed and cultivating that seed so that it can manifest in your life. Number 6. Establish new priorities. Once you revisit your why, we have to establish new priorities based on where we are right now. And what I mean is that if you're feeling that unhappiness that you have gotten off track, then when you revisit your why to create that new connection, that emotional connection between your revised and updated goals, then we have to really begin to establish new priorities based on this redefinition of my goal, this reformulation of my purpose. I now have to change my priorities. And see, the priority part ties in with the time. Remember, focus is energy plus time. And so when we establish new priorities, that means that we utilize the time that we have in a different way. You see, focus is energy applied over time. So these new priorities now put your energy in a time frame that you can operate from moment to moment, knowing that you're doing the best thing right then. In other words, you keep asking yourself the time question. What is the best use of my time right now when I consider my goals, my vision, and my purpose? And then you act accordingly. Step 7 to regaining focus is to take action. We can write it out. We can say it out. We can paint pictures of it. But action is the manifestation of faith and belief. So focus is the foundation of faith. Action is the foundation of results. Action is the manifestation of your focus, of your faith, of your belief. Everything else is theory until the rubber hits the road. To be successful, to achieve what you want, you have to go out and expose yourself to the possibility of failure. You see, success comes about when there's that tension, that creation, that confrontation between doing and not doing, between desired results and miscellaneous results. If you don't take action, that's an action in itself. So once we have our new priorities, we have to take action based on those priorities, and therefore we become more discriminating, more selective about what we do and who we do it with. You know, the difference between a diamond and a piece of coal is simply pressure. And so if you never take action, you never get into the game. You know, we look at the game of life, and there are people who sit in the balcony, in the stands, and do nothing but criticize other people. There are even people who sit in the dugout waiting for a chance, but the ones who make the game move, the ones who gain the victory or the defeat, are those who step onto the playing field. And that's really what it's about for you. It's about taking action, because it's only when you take action, when you put yourself in the game, that the pressure confronts you. And you see, the difference between a diamond and a piece of coal is that when you're confronted with the challenges, that pressure will crush some coal into powder, but it pressures other coal into becoming diamonds, because that coal element resists the pressure, and it is only in this pressure environment that the necessary heat and energy generation takes place that converts coal into diamonds. And that's really what we want. Every challenge, every disappointment should become the pressure to force us to become stronger and more resolute. about what we want so that we can become the diamonds. And then number 8, don't quit. You see, when you hang in there, remember, focus, energy over time. When you quit, you eliminate the time aspect from focus. You lose the value of all that you're capable of creating. You pull the plug out from the energy source. And so when you hang in there, when you create that harmonic relationship between that which you're seeking and that which you have, the universe, the law of attraction, the law of human magnetism operates, and everything that you need to achieve the things you desire will come into your space in great abundance. The people, the resources. One of the beauties about this is when you don't quit and you focus on your goals, on your why, you don't even have to think about the how. See, the how comes from a higher pay level. When you create the harmonic relationship between you and your goals and your desires, the universe will take care of the how. You, through focus, you have the power to blow things up, to see things bigger than they've ever been seen before. So, folks, let's refocus our lives at this point in this year. Let's do what must be done to have that reality check, to take responsibility for our situation, to determine what we do and why we do it, to learn to say yes and to learn to say no, to revisit our why so that it's a burning energy source in our hearts, to establish new priorities and live our life in accordance with those new priorities, to take action. The only time that exists is now. Yesterday is a canceled check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. Now is legal tender. And finally, don't quit. Hang in there. Live life to the fullest. Focus on your why. Focus on your goals. Venus Williams, the great tennis player, said, I don't focus on what I'm up against. I focus on my goals and ignore the rest. Focus on your goals. Focus on your dreams. Focus on your desires. Don't focus on the problem. Focus on the solution. Don't focus on the challenge. Focus on the outcome, the desired outcome. Remember, you can only focus on one thing at a time so that your intention and your attention become one. Whatever you focus your life on grows. It grows with good. It grows with success. It grows with joy. It grows with love. It grows with abundance. But most of all, it grows with the power to make things happen. And so it is. The best is yet to come.